Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, man, we're drinking some bourbon. All right, Ben, I know there was a story. We teased this a long time ago. We're finally getting there.
Yes.
So let's catch everybody up.
So we've got a bunch of whiskey in front of us.
Yes.
This is only half of the whiskey we're drinking tonight.
It's a Friday.
Yeah, so we're doing a flight of 12. And we're gonna do 6 first, then we're gonna take a little break, maybe get some dinner, come back and do another 6, reset the palate.
Yep.
So we wanted to do a flight of as many of the Total Wine Spirits Direct bourbons as we could get mini bottles of, and we've got a couple of regular sized bottles.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get a bunch of the mini bottles because I didn't want to go out and just buy,
I mean, who wants to spend money on Black Eagle?
Right.
Aged 3 years.
And so most of these are budget pours. If you're not familiar with Total Wine, it's not in every state, but I think it's in populated areas enough that it's available to most people.
It's kind of a big box.
It is. I think it's the biggest
store.
Wholesaler in the country or something like that.
And then they have a special line called Spirits Direct, and it's all the ones that you've never heard of.
Yeah, it's almost like from what I understand, and it's not just their bourbon; it's other spirits that they have. But Spirits Direct is kind of they're available. Some of them I see in other stores, but they're almost exclusively Total Wine. Mm-hmm. And Total Wine promotes the hell out of them.
And they're usually pretty cheap.
They're cheap, yeah. They're
on the budget range.
Yeah, most of these are budget pours for sure. Some of these are even like $9 to $15 to $20 a bottle.
For the big bottle, not the babies.
And so we wanted to do a flight and just check them out because I've noticed lately that Total Wine, they're almost sacrificing the awesome selection they used to have to just fill their shelves with these. And when you go in there, they push them constantly, and it's always, they do these little things where they'll put a tag with, here's Dave's favorite bourbon, and there's a little picture of Dave, and it's always one of their Spirits Direct ones. Yeah. Coincidentally, it's never. Yeah.
It's not a Knob Creek or a Wild Turkey or
and
whatever.
Now they even have Fred Minnick's picks.
Where he's got some sort of partnership.
Yeah, and I guess he did a blind tasting of these. I don't know if he tasted them against any other bourbons, but it sounds like it was maybe a tasting of the Spirits Direct stuff for the most part, and then just saying, oh yeah, this one's good, whatever. Yeah. But they stick the little, there's a little Fred Minnick tag now.
Fred Minnick said.
Yeah, and they're putting that in front of Black Eagle and all this stuff where it's like, I don't know. I'm not going to touch it, as far as what people think of that, but.
Like out of this flight, I have only had one very small pour of this one, and it's okay.
And we've had 2 stars.
Have I? Mm-hmm. Wow. It's memorable.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and do this just to see what are these budget pours at Total Wine like. So if you go into the store, should you pick one up?
So I don't know if
agree with our
really
tasting.
We don't really have a methodology. Like we're not going to pick a winner.
No,
out of this.
Just individually say, yeah, this one's decent. Now, is this fair to sample 6 bourbons in a row? Maybe not, but we're gonna do some water in between them. Yep. So let's get into it. So the first one here is Black Eagle, like Greg said, aged 3 years, 80 proof.
So
if I had a tail, it would be wagging. I'm just anticipating this so much.
Yes, I agree. I just saw the clip from Spaceballs earlier today.
Which one?
Where they're in the diner.
Barf's tail.
Yeah. But
you know what? Not a bad nose on this.
Well, that's good. They've been sitting here for a few minutes. We poured ahead of time. I think we need to go fast. We can't be our normal.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm getting into the whiskey here.
But I think we sniff, drink, opinion, move on.
All right, I'm already going in. I've already got multiple snivs in here.
It's got some nice brown sugar notes, but it has a note that is.
There's almost like a little kind of a sharp note to it that's not sharp like proof, but sharp like sour a little bit. On top, but it's also really sweet.
It's very sweet, and that's hiding a bad flavor.
You think so?
Yeah. What is this? Black Eagle? Nah. No, thank you.
For as cheap as that is, being at 80 proof in 3 years,
it has some spice.
Potential. You know, I think it's really got some nice sweet flavors to it, actually. Nice legs on that. Look at that.
It'd be great if you don't drink it.
You really don't like that one that much?
It's not the world's worst thing. It tastes like bourbon. I like bourbon.
I would compare this to any average budget, basic sipper almost.
I think I may pull out whatever I think the worst is, and I have a contender at this point, and maybe compare that against another bad bourbon that I know is not great.
Okay.
So, all right, next up.
So you have your next one. Next one is Lone Hand, also 80 proof. It doesn't say the age on here. If it says it ain't about the losing,
is it
the winning, or
Tennessee?
The draw. I can't read this, it's too small. Yeah, Tennessee Sour Mash.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's go in for this one here.
It's got a nice nose, but it has a graham cracker smell that's a bit odd.
Yeah, totally.
Like a graham cracker left out in the rain or something.
You know what, I love graham cracker, but sometimes that graham cracker note can come off as odd.
The taste is good, it's just very meh.
I like the Black Eagle better so far.
Oh really? I really like this one more, but it's like too watered down.
There's a little must on this one.
There's something.
And that graham cracker note, like I said, I love it, but if it's done wrong, it can come off as something else. It's like graham cracker, like you said, graham cracker left out in the rain is maybe a good way to...
The Black Eagle's more interesting. It just has a flavor that is more not good.
Really? I'm kind of surprised by that, actually, because I think the Black Eagle is kind of a basic bourbon.
I think it is very typical bourbon flavors, but there's just something in it that is...
It falls into that category to me of there's nothing offensive about it, but there's nothing exciting either.
I find it...
A little bit offensive?
Mildly offensive.
All right.
Again, if it's all I had...
We're rolling on to Buckhorn here. This is also 80 proof. These are all 80 proof, except for these last two, so...
I just don't like it.
All right. Buckhorn.
Horn.
Bourbon whiskey.
Aren't they antlers?
What?
Buckhorns, or aren't they antler? Like...
Yeah, they could have just said antler bourbon whiskey.
I just don't understand.
Pretty basic.
Oh. Not getting a lot.
Very down the middle.
So this is 80 proof, we think?
It is 80 proof. It says it right there on the bottle.
That hurt it. Like if it was at 90, it's got nice flavors and it's just a little too watered down.
Yeah.
This one's okay, it just really need to be at 90.
This is interesting. I wasn't gonna say this before we tasted it, but a couple years ago I had a mini bottle of this and I poured it one night. And this is just a great example of how maybe just what I ate that night. I hated it so much I poured it down the drain. I didn't even drink it. And now it's not bad at all. I mean, it's not amazing at 80 proof, but actually, this one does have a bit of a sour note to it on that second sip. But point is sometimes you hate a bourbon and then sometimes you're mediocre on it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm having right now.
So I like the flavor a fair amount.
Okay.
But again, none of these are, well, they are what they are. They're entry-level bourbons. And so
I mean, for any of these, just to make a whiskey Coke,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, of course.
I mean, you could, and some of these are, $10 a bottle, that's not bad.
I mean, maybe a whiskey RC Cola. I wouldn't ruin Coke with it.
Those fighting words. All right, so this is Kings Creek, Black Label, Tennessee Sour Mash, as opposed to the Lone Hand Tennessee Sour Mash, aged 4 years.
Wow.
So this one's gonna be a banger.
We should have some nice
little water here.
Wood notes. Kings Creek. Sounds classy.
Oh, it's nice and sweet, it seems. Sweet caramel.
Not getting a lot.
Still 80 proof.
Ethanol, maybe vanilla.
Yeah, a little caramel and vanilla. Oh my God.
Are you tasting the same thing? Like, this is actually okay. It's a little too watered down.
Are you serious? What the is that?
It has a tang to it that is unnatural. Overall, it's pretty traditional bourbon. There is a flavor that is kind of...
Take another sip. There's like bug spray, vitamins. Are you seriously not getting that?
No.
You know how people talk about Dickel having a strong like Flintstone vitamin note? That's what I'm getting from this. And I don't get that as much from Dickel. That tastes genuinely... I'm getting rid of that one.
I'm not going to argue with you because I don't love it. Yes, I think I get the flavor that you're referring to, but I don't find it as
a little bit
offensive.
Maybe just, now we're in our fourth one. That tasted literally, that didn't even taste like bourbon to me.
Wow. And I mean, we've done large flights before, and we've not had very much to drink today. Very small sips.
Yeah.
And we don't vary that much in what we like and dislike.
No.
But there's a little...
Ah, damn it, I need to pour a little bit more of this. Now I gotta
There's
get
a little bit of a vitamin. Flintstone vitamins, not the worst description in the world for it.
Because I'm saving a little bit in each one of these, and
Oh, I knew why.
you know why.
I don't know why.
Okay, let's give this
saving.
one more sip here, but that is downright offensive.
I don't know. Yeah, this is number 4, correct?
Yeah. And on the nose, it's not bad.
It's a chewable vitamin, but I feel that's really light. It's traditional bourbon with that vitamin kind of chalkiness.
Yeah. For me, that's all I'm getting out
But
of
it's
it. This
like
last sip was a little more toned down, but it's definitely there in the finish for sure.
It's kind of an orange flavor. Orange chalk. Which doesn't sound appetizing because it's not really, but I think it's light. I don't get it as super powerful, but it's noticeable. Again, I don't love it. There are way more interesting things for similar price point. Even stuff that, you know.
I hate that one.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's weird. It got a little more tame with the last couple, with the first like 2-3 sips. That's all I was getting was like that vitamin.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like, a lot of people hate on Dickel, you know? Mm-hmm. Do you follow the Bourbon Santa on Instagram or watch his YouTube? That dude hates Dickel. I'll shoot a little tag here. Cheers. So he's always got like funny memes about Dickel and stuff like that. But I've never really been a Dickel hater for the couple products of theirs that I've had. And a lot of people say there's that vitamin note, and I've never really gotten it quite so strong, but that's exactly what that tastes like to me.
I think George Dickel Bottle and Bond, which is the only one I've had. Well, we had that Tabasco one, but that doesn't really count. That doesn't. I mean, it's been flavored. All right, so number 5. Moving on. This is Haze Parker. We've tasted this. This is kind of more of a down the middle bourbon.
I remember being kind of surprised by this one. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I just bought a mini bottle to see what it was like. Because I think this bottle runs about $11 or $10 for the 750. This one's, we're bumping up to 86 proof now.
Nice. Still, I'm not getting hurt. Well, maybe paint thinner. Maybe it's just the glass. We'll blame the glass. Nothing.
I did have paint thinner in that glass earlier. I forgot to tell you about that. Definitely different than the other ones.
So I had a theory that these were all the exact same bourbon.
You kind of wonder if they're all coming from the same place and just different labels. Definitely
not. There is a distinct, I think they really are coming from Tennessee and Kentucky. Different distilleries, totally different ages, different.
This one came from a vitamin factory.
In Connecticut.
This one, let me get another sip here.
Like, it's just a light bourbon. Like, there's nothing offensive about it. I mean, as a bourbon enthusiast, it's not, in the wheelhouse, but it's fine.
Yeah, I think I like this one the best so far.
So far, yeah. I think it kind of checks the box for being a bourbon.
Yeah, it does. And
just barely. I mean, 86 proof.
This one might even be like $9.99 or something for a 750. And at that point, especially like I said before, if you're gonna mix a, whiskey Coke or something, any of these except for this awful one would probably be fine. You're not thinking the Black Eagle's not gonna hold up to the...
Well, I mean, any of them will. It depends on who's doing the pour, and if you want more whiskey or you want more Coke.
Yeah,
or
that's
whatever.
true.
I mean, any of these could be diluted down. Well, it wouldn't take a lot to dilute them down to nothing. 2 stars. I think this is, I feel this is in a different league. This is a label that's been at Total Wine for a while.
Yes, but they do push it.
They do.
Pretty hard.
It is Spirits Direct, but it's a legitimate whiskey. It is a little bit of like a cheap gift whiskey.
Which we've obviously had.
Yeah, and maybe I have had a flavor or a taste of it, but
it's been a long time. We actually did a video of this when we first were testing audio and camera stuff for so it was kind of a throwaway review, so that was over a year ago. This falls into the category of I tried it in the store because they were giving away samples of it because it's their stuff.
Yeah.
And liked it, and then I got it home and didn't like it, and then I've had it a couple times since then, and I was okay with it. So kind of all over the board, but I haven't poured from this in probably 6-7 months. I don't know. It's been a while.
Let's give it a try. Toasted almond.
Huh. Yeah, not a bad nose.
Much more mature, and I'm looking at it. I don't think it's like a very highly aged.
Is it Kentucky straight?
Well, Jefferson County.
Kentucky straight, and it doesn't say, and doesn't appear to be an age statement anywhere that I've seen on here.
Right.
So then we're rocking at least 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, kind of standard bourbon, again, like the rest of them, except for that awful
proof.
one.
Yeah, 86 proof.
Yeah, all right, let's go for it.
Toasted almond, yeah.
That falls apart on the palate.
You think so?
I like the Haze Parker better than that, I think.
I think the Haze Parker is also decent.
You know, for cheap bourbons, these have all had really good legs on them. I don't know what that is.
It's the ethanol versus the fatty acids ratio. So the initial flavor on this is actually really nice, but it really falls apart. The mid and finish are lacking. And I don't know exactly what causes that.
I don't either. It's kind of interesting.
Some barrel age and some mouthfeel kind of like holds on to the flavor, and it's totally missing in that. But there's something about it that kind of hits you as kind of nice, but it falls apart. This is not a to be drinking neat bourbon. But
I don't think so either. I like the Haze Parker better, to be honest.
Yeah,
I really do.
I agree.
And it's cheaper. I think this is about $20. So we're almost half the price in the Haze Parker, and I really think it's a better bourbon.
I think so. You don't have any more of this? Is this all you have of this one? Okay. I'm gonna be careful with that one. We may need to pull that back out for the second flight.
Oh God, yeah. Taste the Haze Parker again. And then if you need to pour more, it's fine. And now go back to the 2 stars.
And the haze still has a musty note that I don't love.
Does it? See, I'm not really getting that quite as much. I mean, I'm getting the youth on it and whatever, but
it's the youth.
It definitely tastes budget, for sure. These all taste
youthful
budget.
Corn.
It's like, which one of this, is the least budget? And I shouldn't even say budget, because there's plenty of great budget bourbons that I love to sip on any day. But which one of these is the least, they're kind of generic lines, I guess, of bourbon, it seems.
Me.
All right, let's do one more sip, but I'm gonna go backwards. Just one more small sip of each.
That's definitely better. Maybe fast forward through this part of the video.
No, this is where the sausage is made. I mean, people need to see this. This is the worst way to taste these because we're just going rapid fire, no water.
Yep.
We're just preparing ourselves for the grand finale.
Your grand finale.
I feel like this terrible one wasn't as bad on the way down.
I think at this point your taste buds are blown out.
This is why we're taking a break and eating dinner between this and the next flight.
All right, I'm gonna do what I can. And I gotta do this in the Benny Walker order.
Oh God, this one tastes horrible on the way back.
Are you watching?
Down the lone hand.
Are you watching?
It's perfect.
This is how you gotta do it. 1 to 2, 2 to 3. And now we have a solid pour of less than quality whiskey.
All right, now we have 6 Spirits Direct bourbons. Now let's be fair about this and have some water.
Oh, okay. Fair to us or fair to the bourbon?
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah, that's right.
So, what would you say as far as this first flight goes? Like, winner, loser? I mean, I know we weren't really going to pick one, but this Kings Creek one really, that stood out to me, and I did not like that. I'm not a big fan of the 2 stars.
Agreed.
I think the Haze Parker is probably, this is closest to like, it's not the same, but I would say this is the closest to maybe like an Evan Williams Black Label in quality. Closest. I don't think it matches it. If we're comparing, you know, Evan Williams is a budget pour as well,
Sure.
and it's really good.
Legitimately, the only loser here was me and you, because for $3 more for $7.50, you could buy so many great bottles.
Yeah.
And even some that'll be in the next flight.
And there actually are a couple in the next flight that we've had and liked.
Yes.
And then there are some that we've had and not liked at all.
Oh, that's true. But
So-
I think legitimately, like calling this the best, that's not a compliment.
It's certainly not a compliment to the rest of them.
It's not like this would have a tough time standing up against Ancient Age or Benchmark. You know, those are very entry level Buffalo Trace
I
products.
think this could stand up against
Well,
Benchmark.
that's
another video,
decent
though.
video. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go in for the blend here.
All right, here we go. This is about 82 proof. Musty, very young corn, dusty.
There's some caramel trying to creep through.
Water and caramel.
I can taste the frickin' vitamin on that one.
I'm not getting that.
No, actually,
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
You know what? There is.
I mean, it seems like it's there a little bit, but I don't think I can attribute it to this. I think it's just the blend, because realistically, there wasn't a ton of this left in my glass, so not enough to realistically affect them.
But there is a bit of an orange artificial flavor on the finish that I think is legitimately off-putting, or at least it's not quality bourbon.
Yeah, that's not great.
It's not.
All of my blends that I've done at the end of our videos when we compare stuff have turned out really good. This one,
we
you know what this one tastes like?
We normally drink good bourbons, and you blend 2 good bourbons and then make a good bourbon.
True.
We've
And you know what?
had
Here's the
now
thing.
6 bad bourbons.
I didn't want to do this flight just to shit on these bourbons. Like, I want to see, like, you know, sometimes you buy that one cheap one and it's like, whoa, this is actually really good.
And we have found some other entry-level bourbons that we genuinely like. Even
yeah.
at-
So
even
price
at
is
80
not
proof. Yeah.
a cheap price does not mean a bad whiskey. It
Right.
definitely doesn't, if there's one thing I've learned. But these all,
I think this one's okay. This one is okay. Maybe for like new bourbon drinkers who don't, you know.
if you're a
Yeah.
new bourbon drinker, I would skip these and I would go for
There's
like an
so
Evan
many better
Williams
choices.
Black Label, or spend a little bit more money and get like an Evan Williams single barrel or something like that, or Maker's Mark.
Beam, or there's
Yeah.
so many options.
But I will say this, and like we touched on before, any of these, except for this stupid one, would be just, if you just want to make mixed drinks, whiskey and cokes, any of these would be fine for that. You know?
Sure.
Like, don't go to the store and, you know, shy away from these because they're just cheap and unknown. You know, people say, you know, rot gut whiskeys. That's not a thing. It doesn't exist. All whiskeys or all bourbons are made out of the same ingredients.
Yeah.
You know, just different levels. They're aged the same, just different time periods. So the whole, you know, it's cheap rot gut whiskey, that's a myth. It's not a real thing. So if you want to do whiskey cokes or, you know,
yeah, these would
something
be
similar,
ideal.
any of these would be just fine.
Yeah.
And
If you're just looking for 80 proof something to mix with a Coke.
yeah.
Then
you
might
want to
as
save
well
a
go
few
cheap.
bucks? Yeah, go ahead and get one of these and that would be just
Although
fine.
we still should do a video of an 80 proof whiskey and Coke versus 120 proof whiskey and a Coke.
I think it depends on what you're looking for out of your whiskey and Coke. Because I think if you're mixing it with Coke, you're maybe not wanting so much of the whiskey flavor.
Well, I would argue that
But I like your idea.
I think we should do a video just to compare and see what we get. So this blend is very meh.
You know what this blend tastes like?
It takes
pretty much like every bourbon in this flight except for this one.
It takes away whatever good points in. There's only a few, and it just becomes blah.
Yeah,
You know,
I would agree.
you know, it's not vodka, but it might as well be vodka.
Nah, I would take this over vodka for sure. But anyway, so this has been the first flight in our flight of 12. And again, this is not all of the Total Wine Spirits Direct ones, just the ones we happen to have.
Yeah, sure.
And we figured 12 is probably plenty.
Yeah, it's plenty.
So we're gonna take a quick break here, get some food, reset the palate, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna do our next flight of, some of these are a little bit higher proof. There's a couple of 100 proofers there and kind of in the 90 proof zone. So yeah, that'll be interesting. So please enjoy whatever clip I drop in right here, and we'll see you in just a second.